Welcome back to today's episode of the podcast, guys. Today we're going to be talking about Operation Opera from 1981. Got a couple guests with us today.
I'm Trevor Hendrickson.
And I'm Tyler Cooper.
And I am Connor Pudney, and today we're going to be talking about Operation Opera. This took place in June of 1981, June 7th to be specific, and it would feature 12 fighter jets that would fly from Israel into Iraq to bomb a nuclear facility that was a month away from being operational. And as usual, before we get into the actual details of the raid, I'm going to give you guys some historical context. I'm going to pass you off to Tyler, let him tell you all that needs to be told.
So, this all goes back to 1979 with the Iranian Revolution, shortly followed by the Iran hostage crisis. The USA becomes involved in Middle East action because of this. And then shortly after, Saddam Hussein came power in that same year. The following year, 1980, there was the Operation Scorched Sword. This was an attack before the mission. They were building the reactor and they tried to bomb it before it was fully built, but they ended up missing and they hit a building nearby. From the years 1980 to 1988, the Iran-Iraq War took place, which is also known as the First Gulf War. The U.S. announced they would not allow Iraq to lose to Iran. During the war, in 1985, the original Top Gun was released in theaters, starring Tom Cruise. Then from 1990 to 91, the Second Gulf War took place, and the U.S. joined the war to defend Kuwait. From 2003 to 2011, the U.S. Invades Iraq and killing Saddam.
And now we're going to get into the actual proper planning phase of the mission. So I'm going to hand off the podcast to Trevor for that. Let him take back.
So some of the reasons were the Israeli prime minister did not trust Iraq, even though he said that he wouldn't attack them with this reactor. So another reason is the Israeli pilots saw this mission as a determining factor in the future of the country and for their citizens, so they really just wanted to make sure they followed through with the attack so that Iraq did not have this reactor. Previously, when the reactor was being transferred to Al Tuatha, they tried to attack it, but it still arrived on the scene in one piece. And on the 17th of September in 1980, Iraq attacked and declared war on Iran, starting the First Gulf War, and this led to Israel and Iran teaming up against Iraq.
Thanks, Trevor. So into the mission itself. So on June 7th, 1981, at around 4 p.m., the 14 jets would take off from Etzion Air Base in Israel, and they would begin flying to Iraq. Now, the effective range of a normal F-16 is about 850 kilometers. From Etzion Air Base to the Osirak reactor is about 1,100 kilometers. Now, to make up for this distance, the F-16s were loaded with external fuel tanks, and this would cause the planes to be extremely heavy along with all of the ordnance that they had on the planes. So the planes had to fly extra low. This was also to evade any possible sightings from radar and other planes. So when they were flying over the water, they were actually seen by somebody very important. I believe, Trevor, you have a good story about that.
Yeah, so as they were flying over the Dead Sea, the Jordanian president was vacationing on his yacht, and he saw the Star of David on their planes, and he guessed that they were flying to Iraq. And at the time, Jordan was a ally of Iraq, so he tried to call in and alert proper people who could prevent this attack, but he could not reach them in time and could not prevent the attack of the reactors.
That's actually a pretty funny story, Trevor. Now, I'm going to get back into the mission itself. So the planes flew through Jordanian airspace into the Arabian Desert, where they would drop their external fuel tanks as they were no longer needed. The fuel in them had been burnt off in the flight. Then, once they entered Iraqi airspace, they would climb to approximately 6,900 feet and would begin a dive at a 35-degree angle at 680 miles per hour, aimed directly at the the reactor complex. They're flying it old school with unguided bombs, and they would drop the bombs old school bomber style. Two planes at a time would drop them in 5-second intervals. They were dropping the Mark 84 unguided 2,000-pound bomb. And while the F-16s were making their bombing run, the F-15s from the squadron would fan out as soon as they entered the Iraqi airspace to provide a protective bubble around the bombing group to make sure that no enemy fighters flew in and were attacking the F-16s. Now, once the bombs were dropped, approximately 8 out of the 16 would hit the target, the main dome of the reactor facility. The planes would then peel off and immediately head straight home to Israel.
The attack on the Osirak reactor would be successful. The nuclear facility would be crippled, and Iraq would never gain nuclear capabilities, and the reactor was completely destroyed. In the process, it would kill 11 people, 10 of which were Iraqi who were working at the facility, as well as one French technician from the French company that was helping to research and build the facility at Osirak.
Jesus, Rooster, not that fast!
That's it, kid, that's it.
All right, let's go. Ah, Rooster, take it easy!
Sir, Dagger 2 is re-engaging.
All right, now hit your target and come home.
Seconds to target. Bob, check your laser. Air to ground check complete. Laser code verified. 1688. Laser is a go. Watch your heads. Holy shit! Shit! Payback, you with me? Right behind you. Phoenix, stand by for pop-up strike.
Dagger 3 in position.
Popping in 3, 2, 1. Get the eyes on that target, Bob. Dagger 3! Stand by, Mav!
Come on, Bob, come on.
Stand by! I've got it! Captured! Target acquired. Bombs away. We've got impact! Check direct hit!
That's miracle number 1.
Dagger 2, status!
Almost there, Matt. Almost there. Fanboy, where's my laser?
Rooster, there's something wrong with this laser! Shit! Deadeye! Come on, guys, we're running out of time.
You don't mind. I'm trying it. Come on, fanboy.
Nearly there!
Come on, fat boy, get it online.
There's no time. I'm dropping blinds. Rooster, I got this. I got
time.
this.
Pull
Push
out.
away. Bombs away. Bombs away.
Bullseye!
And as you just saw in the clips put up on screen, the raids are actually pretty similar. Of course, the terrain is a little different. They had to make it a little more stylistically important and a little more interesting for the viewer. However, when you look at the technical details of the mission in Top Gun Maverick, it is very similar to Operation Opera. They both involve flying planes that were at the time a little inferior. They were not the top planes at the time. The F-16 in 1981 was a top-of-the-line plane. However, it was not the number one most advanced fighter at the time. That would have been the F-15. And as we see in Top Gun Maverick, the F-18 was used. That is a Navy fighter. It's not the F-22 or F-35s that are super highly advanced. It's a older school plane that has a little more simplistic tech, and they are both dropping unguided bombs. Now, when they both fly in, they fly in pairs of two, fly in, and drop their bombs in intervals. That is a similarity between both the realistic mission and the movie Top Gun Maverick. And the most glaring similarity between Top Gun Maverick and Operation Opera is the target. Now, that is a soon-to-be operational nuclear facility hidden deep in the middle of nowhere that has to be attacked with unguided bombs of a very high explosive rate, and it is in a quote-unquote hostile nation. Now, in real life, that was Iraq, and in the movie, it is a unnamed nation that film critics have theorized is either Iran or North Korea. Now, we can't really know for sure, as there's no direct markings, and the producers have never come out and directly said it, although it does seem like it was really based off of the mission Operation Opera in Iraq. So now that we've made the connection between Top Gun Maverick and Operation Opera, we're going to go into why this is still important and why we partially feel that the relevance of the mission is being brought forward with the creation of Top Gun Maverick, and how it speaks and provides a commentary for the modern world as a whole and how it ties into the history of Operation Opera.
Yeah, so this is still a very important and relevant topic today, as Israel is still very aggressive and hostile country towards many neighboring countries, such as Gaza right now. And Operation Opera is pretty important as a subject today still because of Israel's attack on them, which left Iraq very in a panic mode almost to make sure they try and build up their military again. And they were really invested into this nuclear power, and kind of their military really took a hit after Israel destroyed it. It's still very relevant today as the Israel-Gaza war is going on, and Israel just is known for being an aggressive kind of country, and even now Iran and Lebanon kind of backing Israel again, just like Iran did last time with Iraq. So yeah, it's still very relevant today, and even the U.S. is getting involved, but Israel still is very violent and trying to kind of take over, and it's just shown no signs of slowing down from Operation Opera, and this aggressive mindset is still very relevant to today's Israel kind of country motto almost.
Yeah, I think Trevor really hit the nail on the head there with exactly explaining why this area is just so contentious and so important, and how, I mean, Top Gun really does inadvertently bring a lot of eyes to the region by making not exactly overt references, but implicit references to the history of the region. So I would like to thank Trevor and Tyler for coming to the podcast. It's been a pleasure having you. Hope to have you again sometime. So I wish you the best, fellas. And to the viewers, I hope you enjoyed listening, and I hope you have a good night, folks.